All right, everyone. Yesterday, Twitter suffered a monumental and legendary hack attack that lasted for hours, to the point where Twitter got booted out of its own official accounts. Like, Twitter support was being used to steal Bitcoin from people. Or not steal, but just encourage them to give it to this hacking collective. It was probably the hacker known as 4chan, of course, and then not get the BitChute return. They hacked Elon Musk, Twitter support. They've hacked Joe Biden, believe it or not, a presidential candidate. Technically the number 2 most important account on the whole site, other than maybe the support accounts, as far as from a political perspective, was hacked. Of course, they didn't get into Donald Trump's official account. They probably didn't even bother trying. That maybe they tried and failed, but I have a feeling, looking at the list of accounts that were troubled, these people are definitely like hip to the meme culture, so to speak. And it was funny because, and link in the description actually, and no shit, they did some special stuff with Geert Wilders. With most of the accounts, it was basically a generic statement of, hey, oh, well, we're doubling BitChute. All you send us Bitcoin and we'll send you double the amount back, up to whatever was it, $2,000 or something. But I'm only doing this for 30 minutes. And I wonder, by the way, how many tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in Bitcoin they actually made. I guarantee that some people were gullible enough to take it, because these accounts, you gotta understand, when you're talking about, well, not Joe Biden, because nobody cares about him, but when you're talking about Elon Musk and stuff like that, that's a very large amount of interaction, and they managed to hold these accounts for hours. Again, Twitter couldn't even get into its own official support account. Link in the description, though, to a very special page. Some of you may not know who Geert Wilders is. He's a politician. He's the head of one of the more nationalistic parties here in the Netherlands, actually. And then it was funny because he was trending in the Netherlands because of this. Archived link, snapshot of it as it appeared during this hacking. And it was funny because it was like the Kundalini juice is opening our third eye and stuff about like the Frazzle Drip stuff and George Soros. And then, of course, I officially disavow the totally horribly bigoted Moroccan flag, actually, which they changed his background to. And I just thought to myself, this kind of hysterical memetics that goes on with some of this stuff, and it's not really harmful when you think about it. It's just they took over Geert Wilders' account and they started posting meme stuff. I just see it as a form of activism, really. It's funny because if a bunch of leftists were to, like, let's say that tomorrow, because there'll be a bunch of Karens that are pissed off about all this stuff happening. Let's say that, like, a bunch of Marxists managed to grab a hold of, like, Ted Cruz's account or something and put gay porn on it. They'd be calling it activism, saying it was great, and hashtag resist. But when this sort of stuff happens, and they're talking about George Soros and Bill Gates vaccines and things like that, oh my God, these horrible terrorism, cyber terrorism and stuff like that, and you see a lot of that. Now, of course, when you're mining for Bitcoin from people trying to get gullible boomers who are just dabbling in crypto to think that you're going to double their Bitcoin totals. By the way, even if you actually did that, I want to tell you something, because of transaction taxes with Bitcoin and other crypto, you'd be double taxed on that total, and you'd probably lose money unless Bitcoin surged. That's the funny part. Yeah, don't fall for the doubling scams. Somebody might even be willing to double it just to screw you tax-wise. Seriously, you should look into the way crypto is considered both an asset and a currency, and so the government double dips it. It's sort of like how they screw independent content creators by giving us a 1099 MIST form and then double dipping on our taxes too. So everyone who's in tech gets fucked. Unless you're a corporate CEO and you've got enough money because you made it like in the Gen X period, and then you can pay off senators and stuff like that, like Zuckerberg does, or like Jack Dorsey. But it's funny, the other part of the red pilling, though, here has nothing to do with, like, George Soros or crypto security or something. It has to do with Twitter's goddamn awful fucking on-site security. Twitter is, while it's not as big as, like, a Facebook, it's not Google or Microsoft, it is a big company. It has a huge amount of use. It also platforms the President of the United States, and it can't even retake ownership of its own official fucking account. Which, by the way, is why I think these people just didn't go after Donald Trump's account. To my knowledge, his account was not impacted by this. I honestly think that maybe they were trying to make a point or something. It'd be really funny if they were like Trump fans, actually, and they're like, they donate the Bitcoin proceeds to the RNC or something. You know, it'd be funny if that happened. It'd be funny if it was a couple of Republican staffers, actually. I don't think that it was. But Twitter, insofar as it platforms significant political debate, decreasingly, because Jack Dorsey He's got a big ego, and he's off wandering around right now, I believe, in Ghana or something like that, taking drugs. He's fucking some slaves, probably. Jack Dorsey is like one of those faux enlightened people like Steve Jobs used to be. Apparently he was an insufferable twat, but he took LSD once and would tell everyone about that constantly. That's sort of how he is. So his site security sucks, and he's trying to destroy his own site from time to time. And yet it's a place where a significant amount of political discourse occurs. Now I realize, again, increasingly YouTube's still stable. Facebook and Twitter are sort of being sidelined. Like Parler now is getting to be quite a bit bigger. Gab has grown. Minds.com exists. You've got all of these alternatives slowly, I think, eking away at Twitter. Twitter's engagement on some pages is low anyways. Just discovered during this same hack, by the way, they do indeed have a user blacklist. In fact, they've got all sorts of different algorithmic demotion categories to keep people from trending, to keep it less visible in notifications and stuff like that. They're having to respond to that and the biggest hack attack of certainly the decade thus far at the same fucking shit time. And Twitter has already lost bunch of its stock pricing, and they lost like what, $1 billion last year during their stock slide at the beginning of the year. I think I remember. I think they've regained some of that now, but I mean, why would an investor want to invest in a site that loses control of a presidential candidate's official page for 5 hours? Why would somebody want to invest in or rely upon for any real logistic purpose of anything significant, certainly USGA alerts, USGS alerts, or NOAA or something? Why would you want to rely upon a site that literally gets kicked out of its own official handle? Twitter support literally being used to raise Bitcoin by a bunch of hackers. For hours, they were locked out of their own account. That's not a secure site. This would never happen with a Google product. There have been a few hack attacks on YouTube. They're cleared up much more quickly than this. I remember the time my account, along with like fucking Selena Gomez and a bunch of other random shit, someone managed to get into one YouTube server and deactivate a bunch of accounts. Mine was among them. My account got restored within a couple of hours. Here, it took them 5 hours to get into their own official account. Or more than that. It might have been 6 or 7. Joe Biden's official handle. Now, it was funny because the Babylon Bee actually did a satirical piece there, and they're like, oh, well, we knew that it was a hack because Joe Biden posted a complete coherent sentence. It's so great. Joe Biden couldn't figure out how to use crypto. He can't even use his own Twitter handle. Unfortunately, when you insult the Joe Biden Twitter handle, what you're really doing is just insulting some like 19-year-old staffer who works for minimum wage. Bernie Sanders hasn't prevailed upon the Biden campaign on that token yet. By the way, Bernie never paid him a living wage either, like $15 an hour. He said, oh, I want everyone to make $15 an hour, but my staffers should be able to do with $9. Because he needs more money for that ice cream, or for his 4th house, or whatever. His next his lake cabin, the one with 5 or 6 fucking rooms. It's not a house, it's just a cabin, says Bernie. Yeah, it's got running water, yeah, it's got electricity, it's got high-speed internet. It's not a house. I only go there on weekends sometimes to go and fish and do things that I'm sure PETA would go after him for. But this is hilarious. This is definitely just a happy rant here. I am happy to see that so many people have been red-pilled about how shitty Twitter's site is, as far as its structure and security, number one. And number two, I think this is hysterical. Again, link in the description. Look at Gear Builder's page and what they did to that. I think it's wonderful. That's about all. Peace out.